Hey friends, this is No Matter What. I'm Hanna Seymour. And if you're new around these parts, No Matter What is a podcast where we just talk about how to be who God created us to be, no matter our circumstances, and how to faithfully follow Jesus, how to trust God, no matter what's going on in our lives. And each week I have a conversation with a friend or an author or someone who just wants to talk about what it's really like to follow Jesus in their everyday life. And today's episode, I know I always say this, y'all are going to love this one. I talked to Sarah Maddack. If you have never heard of Sarah Maddack, I bet you've heard one of her songs, especially if you're on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, and especially if you have children. I can almost guarantee you've heard a Sarah Maddack song. Some of her songs are Coffee Shop Bop, Hey Slug, Banana Bread, Story of a Worm. My kids are obsessed with Sarah's songs. They are just fun, silly songs. I think she has self-described her music as wholesome, catchy bops. And that is exactly what they are. And we do talk about silly songs a little bit and kind of how she found herself in this place. But we talk a lot about the ick that is in us of seeking human praise and how to reorient that desire of just seeking the Lord's praise. We talk about persevering through hardship, what we both learned in the early season of motherhood. Sarah became a mom not too long ago. And just in general, we kind of talk about what we usually do on this podcast, how to be who God created you to be, no matter what's going on in your life. So you're going to want to hop on one of your social medias and follow Sarah if you aren't already after this interview. But until then, please enjoy Sarah Maddack. Sarah, I am so excited to have you on No Matter What. Do you remember, this feels like an unfair question, but do you know we've met before, like in person?
Yeah.
Okay,
you do remember book launch, right?
Yes. I loved it. It was like, I wonder if she even remembers that. I think for me, it was such a moment seared into my brain because I remember meeting you and being like, oh, everyone there was kind of like authors, content creators, I don't know. And you're like, oh, I write silly songs. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, come back. Come back to me. Tell me more about that. So that actually, I do want to start there. Like, you write silly songs for a living. How did we get here? I know you did not go to college and major in silly songs.
Right.
So how did we find ourselves where we are today?
Right. That's a great question. Okay, so when I was a kid, I wrote silly little poems, is how it started out. I was really inspired by Shel Silverstein, those poetry books, like Where the Sidewalk Ends, A Light in the Attic.
Yes.
My family growing up, and still, is an extremely wordy family. My dad's a pastor. He's a very intellectual pastor.
Okay.
Like,
you're a PK. I did not know this about you. I am also a PK. So we can start a like a support group, like a positive support group, because I think we both turned out okay. We still love Jesus. We love our families. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, I love that. PKs for life.
Yeah.
Just super linguistic family, reading books all the time.
Yes.
So people are like, oh, did you grow up with music? And I grew up with a little music. Like my mom tried to get me to take piano lessons and I resisted. I sung in a church choir with three other people. It was a very small church. And anyway, I have some music in my background, but words is the biggest thing. So I started out writing silly poems, and I even won a little award in 6th grade for a library contest about a silly song about how I wanted my parents to hire a maid so I didn't have to do chores, and same kind of style where it's almost like a limerick or Dr. Seuss vibes. So fast forward to college, I got recruited for doing an internship where you do door-to-door sales during the summer. You sell books.
I was going to say, what is it called now? It's not
Southwestern,
it used to be Southwestern
Advantage.
Books.
Yeah, Southwestern Advantage.
Okay.
It's kind of a mouthful. And I did that for 5 summers. That was a very formative part of my life. I thought I'd be in sales forever.
Everyone I know that was a Southwestern kid, sales, whatever, they're all stellar, phenomenal people. Maybe there's some duds out there and I just haven't met them. But
thanks. Well, that's been my experience.
You said it was really formative. It has to be, it just has to be so, I don't know, there's not a better word, formative of the people that I know. They're all so relational, such great communicators. They do a variety of things as far as their vocation, but they're all just really good, hardworking, salt of the earth, enjoyable people.
Wow. Thank you. Because I'm in that group. I'll take it. Yeah. Just doing something really, really hard that is facing rejection a lot and continuing to pleasantly persist, as they taught us, in sales. It was wild. But the connection to silly songs is that every year it has a really fun culture. You do yearly sales seminars and conferences, I guess. And they had a music video contest. Those were my first silly songs and videos.
Okay.
And I studied journalism in college. I don't use anything from my journalism degree except for video editing. That's where I first learned to edit video.
Yeah.
And I would stay up. Well, I would write these songs and I had my friend produce them that were about selling books door to door. They're literally on my Spotify. So people can listen, but they're probably like, I don't understand this because it's all this insider lingo, I guess. But yeah, that is when I discovered that I love doing that. I mean, I would forget to eat. I'd forget to use the bathroom. I would just be locked in creating this like just silly song and video experience until like 2 a.m. because it was due the next day and I really wanted to get in. And that kind of became my reputation at the company was, oh, you're the girl from the videos. You're the silly little song lady, but on a much smaller scale. And then I was done with that after 5 years. I moved to Nashville from Indiana, context, and COVID happened. And at the time, I had only written a few silly songs. I mostly actually wrote serious, like singer-songwriter pop songs. Songwriting's like the core skill I think I have that started all this songwriting, poetry, stuff like that. So anyway, I started posting on TikTok since I couldn't go play at open mics. And I found a slug on my rug. Here's the defining moment. Perhaps I could have started here on this question, but I gave you a lot of backstory.
I wanted all of this backstory.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this truly is the moment. Like I found a slug on my rug and I was like, ew, why is that in my bedroom? And I almost went to take it outside, but I was like, there's a slug on my rug that is so catchy. And I had an idea for a song and I sat there, recorded voice memos on my phone and thought it was so fun. And so I recorded a TikTok of me rapping to the slug. I just like left it on my carpet, rug, whatever.
So this isn't like a polished, edited, choreographed thing. This is like selfie mode, you and this rug and the slug. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like not even good quality because I didn't have good lighting or anything. But it just went viral and like, has several million views. And every time I repost it, it gets several million views. And that's what people remember. And I just think it was like a fun, delightful thing for people to see during quarantine.
Yes, in 2020. It's like everyone was just like, we were all little plants, like leaning towards the light. Anything that gave us like happiness, joy, not everything is falling apart. We were just like,
Yeah. Oh, so true. So yeah, from there, I just ran with it when it was blowing up and people wanted more songs. And I'm like, I have hundreds of songs. Like, I mean, I did it as a hobby.
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just kept making these raps and grew my audience. And the rest is history. There's obviously more I could share about how I made it a business and all this, but we'll get to that maybe.
What do you think has been the biggest surprise in this, like particularly this vocational journey for you?
Just transparently, the biggest surprise is how much advertisers will pay you to make a brand deal. Because when I first started getting requests for, what do you charge for this?
Yeah.
I remember being like, $500. Like, is that like this huge number? And now I know I was way undercharging because companies will pay for exposure, and if you have trust built with your audience, they have advertising budgets. And there's a huge range of that. And it's never just been, easy breezy. That whole journey, I'm a millionaire. That's
right.
Not true.
I want that for you. Okay.
I do too. but I remember being shocked when other influencers were like,
you're not
you should be charging
enough.
way more. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's that valuable to them? Cool. So that was shocking.
I know because the internet is the internet, you have to get mean people commenting on your stuff. How have you dealt with that?
Okay. Here's the truth.
Yes.
Up until last week.
Okay.
Never bothered me. Never bothered me.
Okay.
God, he still is, but has always given me like the grace to just be like, oh, what? If I'm getting hate comments, I'm doing something right. No one hates on someone who's no one is seeing right now,
Yeah.
And honestly, like when you look at the comments and click in the profiles, I hear creators say the same thing. It's always someone who barely posts anything or doesn't even show their face.
Yeah.
They're anonymous. It's easy to be
Right.
mean from behind a wall.
Right.
And I usually think it's troubled teens or kids.
Yeah.
Their prefrontal cortex is not developed.
Right.
They're
Right.
seeking attention. They're seeking attention from other people reading their comment.
Mm.
And maybe their experience of me genuinely is they cringe on the inside or they feel embarrassed. And that's okay. That's not like harming them, like I'll take the making other people feel cringy is worth the other people that delight in it,
Yes.
Thankfully, I will say God has just given me the grace to be like, it's not a big deal. And it honestly makes me laugh a lot. Some of them are really, really funny.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I had such a low week last week. I'll be so honest. I had such a low week. This has been I've had a recent uptick, honestly, which is nice, but just a slow season when it comes to engagement. I'm spending hours on videos that are barely getting any views, or engagement, honestly. I'm just either something I'm doing isn't connecting in the last couple months, or people are going back to school and they're busy. For whatever reason, I've felt very discouraged. Last week was very discouraging. And at a low point, I read a comment that said, she was so much more popular in 2020. And that's an insecurity I have.
And you're like, that's my fear. You're literally speaking to my fear. Yeah.
Yeah. My fear is that, I peaked. And now it's just a slow, painful death. But the truth is, my identity is not in my job.
That's right.
We know this.
Yeah.
And even the logical truth is, I wasn't more popular in 2020. My videos got more views on TikTok, along with every other creator in an undersaturated market when it was first starting out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's just kind of true for most people.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, my business has grown on other platforms and in other ways.
Of course.
But the comment hit me and I'm like, dang it.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you talk to yourself when that happens and remind yourself of truth?
Yeah. Well, first I went to talk to my husband.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I'm like, I had a whole cry session with him, which is good. But I definitely talk to God and talk to myself. And, I just remind myself that there are ups and downs in the business.
Yeah.
I've had slow seasons before, and they always eventually go up if I persist.
Yeah.
If you don't grow weary in doing good, for soon you will reap a harvest. If you do not give up.
That's right. That's right.
And also just the reminder that just self-compassion. I'm not going to be perfect. Yeah. I'm not going to be likable or even palatable to every person.
Yeah.
And God didn't ask me to be.
Right.
So
your music isn't for everyone. It's for someone's. It's for lots of someone's, but it's not for everyone. I actually have it open on my desk right now. I've been studying 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and Paul writes twice. It's in one verse he says, "Our purpose is to please God, not people." And then later he says, "As for human praise, we have never sought it from you or anyone else." And I just thought, man, if I could just tattoo that to my forehead. Well, that's not helpful because everyone else will see it. It's but I need it on my eyeball so that I can be seeing that 24/7. As for human praise, I've never sought it. I never will. It's okay, we are not seeking human praise. And what's so hard in what you do, and even what I do, is human praise is validating that we're hitting a mark, we're hitting a spot that people want, they need, it encourages them, it whatever. So it's feedback, maybe that's different. It's human feedback, but we're still not doing it for human feedback. We're trying to do what it is that God has, skilled you to do, put on your heart to do. But man, it's so hard.
It's so hard. I totally want human praise.
Yes.
I really do in my flesh, but I have to continually remind myself that's not the point.
Yeah. And I think too, I've been in a season, kind of what I heard you saying is you're spinning your wheels. You're working so hard right now and you feel like you're not seeing the evidence of that. You're not seeing the fruit. And I spiraled last week in the car with my husband, and he's like, "I think now is not the moment that we need to be spiraling right now." But I'm like, I'm working so hard. I'm like, what if there's no fruit? What am I doing? I could be doing a million other things with my time. And is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And he's like, "Yes, it is. It's okay. I don't know what happened that got you to spiral at this moment, but keep doing it. And I think too, I have to constantly tell myself, my job is obedience. God's job is the outcome. And if he wants something to be successful, and successful is that 3 people that it speaks to 3 people and they need it and they love it. And that, like, if that's what God's desired outcome is, great. And if it's 3 million, also great. But like, I obey. He's in charge of outcomes. I am in charge of my faithfulness, my everyday faithfulness, and he's in charge of the influence. But man, it's hard. Man, it's hard.
It is. I'm glad you have a good husband like me.
I do. I have a really good husband. And what I've gleaned is that yours is also like that, which
so good.
Yeah.
He's literally a trained therapist. Like,
what is that really? He is a therapist? I did not know that.
Well, he doesn't practice with it right now, but he has his MFT, like marriage and family therapy.
Oh man.
Master's.
Oh man. I like that. Great. That's useful.
Yeah.
Okay. I also remember years ago now, maybe it was 2020. I don't know. But I remember you write, I think you've described it as like wholesome, catchy bops. Like it's all very family friendly. It's not, and maybe you have, I bet you have with like Veggie Tales people and stuff, but like the stuff that you're putting out isn't overtly Christian. You're not rapping Bible verses. But if it doesn't take too long of digging around on you, that's like, I love Jesus. He's my reason for everything. But I do also remember one time you posted a video where you're like, I got to tell you guys, and you really gave your testimony in the gospel. So that's my memory. So give us the context. Like, what was the impetus for you to do that? Was something going on in the background that you were like, I have millions of TikTok followers, all these people, like, it's time that I tell people why I'm the way that I am, why I do what I do. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Oh, I will say, like, I have worried about that in my mind a few times about like, how much am I supposed to share? How transparent am I supposed to be? Because as you said, I don't believe God's called me to be a Christian artist. Well, I'm a Christian, obviously.
Of course.
Christian artist, Christian speaker. But I don't know. I truly worry about it. Like, how much do I share? How frequently? Yeah. But I went to a conference about digital evangelism. And it was talking about just like the power of using social media to talk about Jesus and spread the gospel. And they did like a challenge kind of thing where they were like, oh, let's all record our testimonies and share them like the same day. And I would have loved to do that. But I just felt like, oh my gosh, I want time to really think about how I want to share it. Like, I remember I was in an airport and I tried to record it. And it was supposed to be like 60 seconds or less or 90 seconds or less or something. And mine was like 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't, I don't have, and then I have to edit it. And then I was just like, this just feels a little forced for me right now. I'm just going to think about this and pray about this. And then I think it was like a couple months later, I'm like, actually, here's what it was. I'm glad you asked this question. I think it was my 10-year anniversary of becoming a believer. It was literally like, it had been 10 years since I gave my life to Christ. And I was like, it's a really good reason to share my testimony. As if you need a good one. But I just went to my car and I was just prayed that God would give me the words. And I just shared what my experience was and posted it to TikTok. And I remember, just transparently, like something I struggle with is I would almost call it religious OCD. I know that's super like, no, I've never been diagnosed with OCD, but sometimes I get like very, this is not from God, very fixated in my brain about like, I have to do this specific action or God is mad at me kind of thing. And sometimes I really struggle to know if the Holy Spirit's asking me to do something specific or not. Like, honestly, it's just something I wouldn't say I'm really great at right now yet in my spiritual journey. Like, did I just think that this is the most challenging? Totally. Oh, am I supposed to do the hardest thought that comes to my mind? Well, I have 100 thoughts a second.
Right.
Right. Maybe not a second. That would be, I need to go to the hospital. Anyway, after I posted it, and I felt like so much peace about posting it, and I felt like God's good pleasure in me did not come from that specific action, as if it was hinging on that. But I remember posting it and thinking like, oh, great. Some people will see it. Some people won't. And God still loves me, whether I posted that or not. And God would be just as delighted in me if I called up my friend right now who needs some love and poured into them. Like, just because I did the thing that felt most vulnerable doesn't mean like he's like loves me more because I did the harder thing.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So that's a lot of like inner brain challenge that you didn't really ask for, but it's just something I struggle with. All that to say, I just had and I remember I had a lot of like just really sweet comments that
Mm,
showed that it resonated with people or
hmm.
blessed them in some way. And I was happy about that. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I hope people dig around and find it
Yeah.
because it's the truth.
I always love it. I mean, obviously I'm a Christian, and so it's like just the other day, a fitness content creator that have followed for years, she posted something about like it was just like her morning routine, and it was like I always read my Bible, and I was like, oh, she didn't just say that. Like I had never seen her post. I mean, and again, it's so funny too because I think as a believer, when you start following people online, sometimes you get a vibe of like, you're like, I think they love
I
Jesus.
know.
Like, I am 90% sure. And of course, on Instagram, I always have to joke. I'm like, they might be Mormon, but they might be Christian. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
But these people are giving me Jesus vibes. And anyway, so this creator was someone who for sure, I'm like, I really think she could be a Christian, but she's never, ever, ever said anything to lead me to believe that. And then just this one little slide on her carousel post of her open Bible. And I was like, oh, girl, I see you. And then you're like, yes, I knew it.
I
I love
experience
that
that
you're
all the time.
doing what you're doing. Like, but to your point, I can imagine the tension of how much is enough. How much is there such thing as too much? Is there, which I think we'd all be like, no, you can't talk about Jesus too much. But also silly, like an accountant doesn't go to work and have to like be a Christian accountant. A dentist isn't, you know what I'm saying? But something
Yeah.
about, I think, content creators and people who have a large platform, whether it's you're a celebrity, you're an actress in Hollywood and you're a celebrity, or it's, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, there's this pressure or expectation that you're going to be constantly evangelizing from that microphone. I have a brother-in-law who's a country music artist, and let's just already say the country genre is already friendly to Christianity, to Jesus, the Bible, going to church. Like that culture is very open to that. I mean, he has lyrics that talk about Jesus or church or God. Like it's already so part of that genre, but still, it's not like he's like sharing his testimony every time he performs or at every social media post or whatever. But the man that he is, his neighbors know he loves the Lord. And you know what I mean? It's like the real people in his life.
Yeah.
He is making disciples. He is encouraging people in their walk with the Lord. He is sharing about the goodness of God. I don't think it always has to be like constant from this larger platform. Like
Yeah.
I think we're called to be faithful in our everyday lives. And of course, that's going to come out in the larger spaces as well. But
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
such a good conversation. And as you're talking, that's super cool about your brother, by the way. I'm just thinking about, well, what are the most impactful, have I seen the most fruit in my evangelism?
Mm,
My best friend, one of
mm,
my other really close friends, like just I can think my sister. Those are where, like, if you're really getting into some nitty gritty conversations where you're like, hey, here's truth and love, that is best received from your closest people.
that's
You know what I
right.
mean? And
Yeah.
not everybody is called to be we know this, a leader, a preacher. And social media is like, think about standing up and preaching to a crowd. Like God says, hey, if you're going to be a teacher,
Be careful.
yeah.
You're
So
held to a higher standard.
yes, I will
Yeah.
say it's as if me sharing, I follow Jesus and here's the story is like, don't be a teacher, Sarah,
No, but I actually
unless you're
listened.
serious.
No, I listened to a podcast recently where Jackie Hill Perry was kind of saying that to Lecrae, and Lecrae, she wasn't talking at Lecrae. She was like talking generally, and Lecrae was like, "Did you just call me out? Like, are you telling me that I'm a preacher and that I am held to a higher standard and I need to be careful with this microphone?" And and she was like, If the Holy Spirit is leading you to think that that's what I was saying, then like whatever."
Oh,
But
that's
I was
so
like,
funny.
wow. And she was like, there are a lot of podcast preachers out there that don't realize the mantle that they have picked up and the standard they're being held to. And I was like,
Yes.
ooh, that actually, you're right. Because I think we just think of the folks who open their Bible on a Sunday morning behind a pulpit and have a microphone attached to their head. And it's like, no. Those are the preachers and Bible teachers that scripture is talking about. And it's like, ooh, we got a lot of people. I've got one right now, right in front of my face. Like a lot of people with their mouths on a microphone, either edifying and encouraging the church in the way that the Lord wants, or leading them astray. And that is scary. That is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's why it's just so important to to talk to Jesus
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
consistently. Hey, God, what are you calling me to do today? And the first thing he calls us to do is to be with him, as if I'm so good at that and just constantly spending with my baby and my job, like that's it's hard, but like
Yeah.
that's where I want the overflow of my works to come from. And not to just like dwell on this topic so long, but you also want to make sure it's not performative. Can I confess a sinful thought I've had?
Yeah.
Is anytime I'm sharing about Jesus, maybe not every time, but sometimes I think, oh, wow, other Christian influencers I admire will probably see this and they'll probably think I'm super bold and brave. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? And as
Yeah.
soon as that thought enters my brain,
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up.
You're like, ew, gross.
Shut up, Sarah. It's like so silly. And yeah, I promise it's just a flickering thought, but like I'm human. I'm human. I
No,
want
I
other
love,
people to think I'm cool and like, oh, we share the
yes,
same
we all do.
values. We
Yes.
connect.
Again, seeking human praise. Like,
Yeah.
just, I think
It's a
that's just
sickness.
part of our sinful nature.
Yeah.
We so desperately want to be loved. We so desperately want validation. We so desperately want to be told that we're worthy and that what we're doing matters. And it's like, actually had a really good conversation with Kelly Needham. If people haven't listened to it as they're listening to us, like it is such a good conversation to go back to. But she wrote a book called Purposefooled. And it's this idea that like we all want to be great. We all want our lives to matter. We want to do something that matters. Her biblical thesis, biblically grounded thesis is those aren't wrong desires. Those are God-given biblical desires, but we do it in the wrong way. Instead of, the Lord being like, no, I did create you in my image. I gave you a unique set of skills. I've given you unique experiences. I put you in a unique situation. I have prepared good works for you to do in advance. But all of that is for me and my glory and my kingdom, not for your own kingdom, for your own,
Yeah.
Anyway, and I think it's like constantly reminding ourselves when you feel that like, oh, I just want this to be successful or I want people to validate or whatever. It's like, okay, I want validation, but I just need to look to the one whose validation actually matters. No one else's validation matters, just the Lord's.
Mm-hmm.
So hard.
I know.
Okay, you just brought up your baby. You became a mom. How old is your sweet baby?
She is 10 months today.
Oh my gosh, 10. I love it. 10 months today. Okay, how has this transition been for you?
It's been amazing, honestly.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, obviously, maybe other parents feel this way, but like it's easy to forget maybe the most challenging parts, especially
Sure.
when you're like having a good day with your baby. You're like, the whole
Yes.
thing's great.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, definitely plenty of challenges, tough sleeper. She's still not sleeping through the night, Fine though.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
She
though.
will someday.
She will.
She really will.
She will. She must. She simply must. But it's been a total godsend. I think the only reason I'm able to be as emotionally stable as I am, one of the biggest reasons is my husband stays home. He's actually stayed home since she was born and like takes care of her during the day so I can get work done. He's literally with her right now. And this is also only possible because of how God increased my business income 2 years ago in a really significant way. It was like a huge difference.
Wow.
Right when we had been praying that we would have a house because we had a teeny little apartment in a not so safe area. And we were like, we want to have kids. And then right when it was time to start looking for a house, that few months leading up to that, I'd had a song go very, very viral, became a trend on TikTok. And the royalties from that song is what helped us afford a house.
Wow.
Period. It's also what's helped us be able to, have him not have income right now and do the things we're doing. And that's allowed me to keep creating and also spend a lot of time with her. Like, and I never, because I still like nurse her throughout the day and see her throughout the day. And it is the hugest blessing and privilege that I will never take for granted. And hey, it might not be forever. God might call him to have his own career start back up in next month. Who knows? Or maybe we'll just have a need for more income because my business will have a dip. Whatever.
Right.
I'm just so grateful, and and he's amazing, and that's a big reason why it's been honestly it felt like a great transition.
That's awesome. What do you feel like you've learned about the Lord, or that he's like shown you as you're walking with him, specifically in the season of motherhood? Like, is there something that like you would say like, I didn't know that before, or I didn't see that before, or like, what do you feel like he's like
Yeah.
invited you into that's new?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about a shower thought I had when she was like maybe her first 2 weeks of life, where I was like, whoa, how crazy is it when a baby is a newborn? They don't even smile at you yet, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
They don't show affection towards you. There's nothing they can do for you. That relationship
Yeah.
starts out with fully 100% loving them first.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the
Yeah.
parent and they're the child. And I was just like, I have chills. Like, I remember feeling so moved, thinking, I feel like God designed it that way because
Yeah.
he loves us 100% first before we can ever
That's
do
right.
anything for him. And that, but he craves and he longs for that first smile at him, that first
Mm,
laughing at him, that first reaching for him, and
mm,
then it just becomes this beautiful relationship.
yep.
So I was really moved thinking about like, wow, God 100% loves us first before we can do anything for him,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know?
Totally. That was one of the kind of same. I mean, that's probably, I guess, like a normal epiphany for most people when they become parents. But I specifically remember having like poop on my arm. Like it was like an explosive diaper moment. Poop. There was probably like spit up. I just remember being covered in like bodily, fluids that were not mine, and thinking, this is crazy. Like this child has literally just oozed disgusting fluids all over me. And I am still 100% so obsessed in love. Like I can't even explain how compelling and strong and overwhelming the love that I feel for this child is. Um, and they're like insulting me, but
I
it's
know.
not even like they're not smiling at me. They don't even know I exist. I mean, I think they do know that we exist, but like they're
They
making
don't
my
have a
life
concept.
harder and like making my life gross. And I am still so obsessed with this child. I recently have been thinking a lot about just kind of this maybe sound like morbid or whatever, but I feel like the Lord has been inviting me to understand more fully my sin nature and the fact that I truly was an enemy of God. I think it's hard when you're saved as a 4-year-old to feel like you were a big fat sinner in need of a savior. It's like, I mean, yeah, I know I'm a sinner. I sin every day. I'm so selfish. I get impatient. I get angry. Like I, having children makes you so aware of how sinful you are. But um it's still hard to believe like I was an enemy of God. Like really? And of course, I can theologically explain that and get there, but just feeling that of what does that really mean to be an enemy of God? And my pastor just this Sunday preached a sermon that related to it. But basically, he was like, if you don't believe you're that bad of a person, he said it differently. I'm distorting his words, but the idea was if you're not that bad, the gospel's not that good. If you're not that
Mm,
bad, God's love isn't that good. And I thought, man, like I get that. Like as someone who really has walked with Jesus and known Jesus for I'm 41 years old, so I mean, almost 40 years, like it's easy to forget that I was an enemy of God and that he, back to your point, he overwhelmingly, unconditionally loved me in that state
mhm.
when I wasn't just not smiling at him. I was a active enemy because of my sin nature against the goodness of God. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, Sarah. Let's back to you. Um,
Oh, it's amazing.
okay, so this whole podcast is really about how to walk faithfully with Christ no matter what's going on in our lives, how to be who God created us to be. I grew up hearing my dad say, like, be the woman God has called you to be no matter what. Be the man God has called you to be no matter what. And so I call these no matter what seasons. Like we all experience times in our lives where life is just not like how we thought it would be or should be, or we get bad news or a bad diagnosis or just some hardship comes our way. And these are no matter what seasons where we get to decide, am I going to choose to trust God, trust who he is, who he says he is, trust in his goodness? Am I going to be faithful unto him or else? So I wondered if there's a no matter what season that you can think of in your life that you would share with us. Like, what's a time where you were like, okay, yeah, like I have to make the choice to walk faithfully with Jesus in this season, even though I do not like this.
Hmm. Yeah. One of the most challenging seasons of my life was selling books, honestly. Like it
Mm-hmm.
really was that hard
Mm-hmm.
because you're being rejected 13
over
hours in a row.
and over
Like,
and over.
and your breaks are driving between houses. It's wild. And I have never, probably never more consistently talked to God, because you're talking, they say self-talk, you know, and you do self-talk all the time, all throughout the day. But mine was so much like, God, please, please help me to meet someone nice. You know, like, oh, God, I need to trust you that I'm out here in the middle of this small town, knocking on doors for a reason, and that this is building my resilience, my character. And I would tell myself, God, please help this make me a better wife and mom one day. Because that was really, it sounds so silly, door-to-door sales, but like, it had such formation of me to go through something that hard and have to totally depend on God throughout. And, you know, I feel like he was calling me to not quit and keep persisting, and let him do a good work in and through me in that season. And that was like, oh, really hard. And I'd also just put me in a place, though, where I clinged to his word and the devotional I'd read in the morning. Like, I needed it, because I would start the day with butterflies, and I'd be driving to my territory in the morning with butterflies, knowing I had a whole day of just showing up at people's houses. And there's the pressure of like competitive, that it was very competitive. Like, you want to make a lot of sales. And then when you're a leader, you know, I did it 5 years. Oh, well, now you're leading other young people who expect you to be very successful and selling a lot. And I was just like, and then, okay, my fifth summer, my very last summer, I think I recruited like 20 people, and I think 11 of them quit. And that hurts. That hurt so bad. I was drowning. Honestly. It was just kind of rough. Like, the structure of the organization didn't have enough managers ratio to rookies. And that just puts a ton on me, including a ton of admin stuff that I was not good at. I was good at sales. I was good at sales and encouraging people. That's it. Not like reading maps and figuring out where people can go and host families. And anyway, I could get into the nitty gritty, but it was like one of the hardest seasons of my life.
But you did it 5 years. I mean, what made you keep going back?
The people and the culture. It's just so fun. You are just bonded with these people because you're doing something so weird, you know, like, and you see each other every week. You live with your roommates. So even though you're out there alone almost every day, you know, when you see people, you're like, how was this week out in the wilderness for you? It feels like that. And it was just, but like you said, I mean, it's really true. Like, this program, people who see it through and finish at least a summer, you know, they really, it both attracts and creates.
Yes,
I would say.
You're right.
People who are, like you said, relational, hardworking, just resilient and cool and fun. And like, the people were just so fun, and you're just cheering each other on. And some of them are still my very, very best friends.
Wow.
So it's been like 7 years.
So what's a takeaway from just one of those 5 summers, but from that whole season, that you will pass on to your daughter someday?
That's such a good question. Yeah, that's such a good question. I would say a takeaway is, I mean, really just the power of praising God, even when things are not going well. Like, I remember being between houses, and I would be on a 0 day. And you know how we're talking about how we're spinning our wheels, and we're like, oh, we're not seeing a lot of fruit. After 13 hours of being out there, and you haven't made a single sale, and you're just like a little college student who's already still working on their confidence.
Like, a 13-hour day? Who even works 13-hour days normally? Like, I mean, that is wild.
I know. It was. But yeah, if you had a 0 day, you're like at your wit's end. But what would help me is, I remember, it sounds so dramatic, but the Mercy Me song, Even If, like, even if I don't make a sale, my hope is you alone. Like when you're, I feel like there's no way to explain it unless you've done it. It really feels that desperate. It feels like,
no, I mean, I can imagine. I really can.
God, help me to fill my cup. But yeah, praising him in the storm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, 2 final questions. One question I love to ask people is like when I just like bump into a friend is what's something ordinary right now in your life that's bringing you joy? And I kind of feel like your silly songs vibe is like the ordinary thing that brings other people joy. So I'm like, I have to ask Sarah this question. But for you personally, what's something in your life right now, totally ordinary, that's bringing you joy?
Our yard. We have a yard.
So good.
And we're so blessed. Nathan, when we were looking for a house, we had a wants and a needs list.
Yeah.
On the want list, he's like, I think it'd be awesome if we had some trees on our property. And I remember being like, that's not realistic. We're looking in Nashville, and our house is completely and totally surrounded by trees.
Wow.
It's very private. And this house was somehow in our budget, which was not a huge budget for Nashville.
Right.
And God just decided to lavish us with this blessing that right now I can show you. I'm looking out my window and this is what I see.
It's incredible.
It's so
That's
beautiful.
Incredible. That is not my, I mean, I guess we have trees, but it's not like a wooded lot. We were in new construction. So, they're babies. Yeah. They're working on it.
That's right. But I mean, I just tell Nathan, I'm like, babe, I don't think anyone will ever appreciate our yard like I do. I think if I had $1 million, I think I would have paid $1 million for this beautiful yard. And our neighbors have an outdoor cat named Miss Winks. She's like a little orange cat. And she'll just come prowling up our driveway and she'll walk in front of our window. And she's just like this random outdoor cat that makes her way around our house. And that also brings me joy.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. Okay, final question. What is one thing right now that the Lord is teaching you that's surprising or unexpected?
Yeah. He's teaching me that just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I am automatically just so much more holy that I don't even want to scroll Instagram on my phone because I have a daughter. And somehow I thought that would make me just become like this little Amish mom who is just wants to read my Bible all the time.
I love that
blah, blah, blah.
vision for you.
Thank you. So that's one. And so I just got a brick device that bricks me out of my social apps.
Yeah. I'm about 17 ads away from buying one. So just give me.
That's funny. Yeah, I get that. It's been so great. So that's one, just showing me like my flesh is weak and I have to be intentional about weeding out my terrible habits.
Yeah.
That past a certain point are sin, straight up. Yeah. Like I'm just like not being responsible.
Right.
Not being a good steward of my time or attention. So that's one, showing me like I actually needed to buy that brick to help me, and no shame. And another thing I realized is that he's teaching me that I am trying to control people in my life when I feel like they're making bad decisions, and I feel responsible for it, and it like plagues me to no end. And God's like, have you not seen like all that I've done with the close people in your life, what I've delivered them from when it felt like there was no way, or what he delivered me from in high school and college, and like stupid choices I made that maybe my parents were like, God, please. And then he did. Right. And it's not on me. And I don't need to be constantly trying to control my friends and family. They would probably never even think that, to be honest, but like in my brain, and I'm reaching out to you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I need to trust God.
You are not the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the Holy Spirit in people's lives.
Then I would live inside everyone. That'd be terrifying.
That would be a lot. That would be a lot. It'd be overwhelming, I think. I already feel overwhelmed having 3 children. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on No Matter What. Thank you for sharing with us just a little bit of your story. And I already talked on the front end for your introduction, but y'all, Sarah's songs, we genuinely, I told my kids that I was talking to you today, and they were like, oh, let's play all of her music on our way to school. First of all, they did not speak the entire drive, which I have 3 of the most verbal children you've ever met in your lives. Teachers will be like, I thought maybe like one of your kids might not talk as much. Like, and I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too. They just kept coming out talking, every single one. But they're so, I mean, they know a lot of your songs, but as we were listening, I think there were some new ones in there. It was so fun to hear them listen and then crack up laughing at some of the lyrics. Like, it just was the sweetest thing. But anyway, it was so enjoyable. I had a great morning. Great morning drive to the homeschool tutorial, listening to This is Sarah Maddack on Spotify. So anyway, truly, thank you for your work. Thank you for what you do. It matters. Your silly songs do matter. And I said this to you before we got on, but I'm just personally encouraged just seeing you be who God created you to be, being faithful in it, walking in what he's put before you, and excited to see where else it goes.
Thank you. This has so filled my cup. I just love talking to you. Thank you for interviewing me. It has blessed me.
Same. Maybe we just keep talking, Yeah. Offline. Okay. How much do you love Sarah Maddack? If you have kids, or honestly, if you're just a kid at heart, you need to go listen to her music if you haven't already. And the other thing I just wanted to remind you guys is that I have an email I send out every Monday morning. It's really simple. It's short. You can read it in about 3 minutes or less. It just shares one Bible verse, one Christian quote, and then one question. And they're all just kind of designed to help you stop and take a minute and think about the Lord and how his goodness and his truth impacts your life today. So if that sounds like something that you might like to get in your inbox, you can sign up at hannaseymour.com, or I also offer it as a podcast experience. It's usually about 6 minutes, and I put time in there for you to pray throughout the episode. And so you can find that on your favorite podcast player, and it's called The Weekly One. Next week, our guest is Ellie Holcomb, and y'all are not going to want to miss it. So I will see you then.